see if we are live. One moment. Checking in with my stream. Looks like we're up. Checking signal. Looks like we're there. Looks like volume. Checking signal. Check. There. Looks like volume. All right, that sounds pretty good. Drop that down again and get it out of the way. I'm going to get my stuff situated here and updated, and then we'll get started. So if you're catching this in the future and you just want to skip ahead a minute, you're certainly welcome to do so. But for those that are trapped here in the here now of time and space, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online, and I have been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're currently creating an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition mechanics. It's going to publish on the DMsGuild once it's finished. And I am just about done posting socials, so let's see. And final click is here. Okay, cool, we're good. And let me go ahead and get that out of the way. Pop. And then let's adjust this here. And X Twitter platform, if you're there, I'm at Phil Kearney. Be welcome to check it out. I post my my stream links, articles, and works in progress here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification. Hey, new subscribers! Thanks a lot, guys. New subscribers, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification. Here's the entire playlist of all 366 episodes to date. Here's my Discord community where we do playtesting and sharpen our knives. You're certainly welcome to participate if you want to support me. Otherwise, you can do so on Patreon for $1 a month if you want to have preferential treatment for sitting down for playtest games. If there are seats open, Patreons get first access. Subclasses Revivified, gold medal on DMsGuild, currently number 2 on the hot list. All the subclasses that were not in the player's handbook are in this book for you using 2024 rules. Our Spelljammer combat and exploration mechanics was highlighted by DMsGuild for Cyber Monday. Check it out. Color mana spell point variant rules for people that like Magic the Gathering color mechanics instead of the 8 schools of Magic Vancing system for Dungeons & Dragons. Point Warlocks is actually now gold. I need to switch that out, but God bless all y'all for supporting that stuff. Point Warlocks are the fucking bomb. Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica converts all of Ravnica into Point Warlocks. Super cool. Ability check casting for spells. I need to revise that for 2024. We started the process of revising Spelljammer, Combat and Exploration, as well as the color mana system for 2024. All this shit's going to get updated for 2024. Just give me time, stick around. Monday through Friday in the morning, we do artwork. And Monday, Tuesday, and Friday lunch, we do design. Like we were working on the Spelljammer subclasses this week. And then Thursday nights, like tonight, I'll probably work on color mechanics tonight. And then Saturday morning is my workbench, where we will, sometimes we work on art commissions. I don't know. It just depends on, it's an open bench. We'll probably work, I don't know what we're going to work on. But this is no longer a relevant box, so I can get rid of this. So let's blop that out of the way. That's going to free up a little bit of space on my page. Get rid of that there. But yeah, I'm liking how all these things are fitting into place. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Like that. Blend that in a little bit better. I should probably recut this this block over here just so it sits better. It has less frame. It's a little rough and ready right now. Let's fade that out here like that. Cha-da-cha-da-cha-da-cha. Just want to mess around with this for a few minutes because we've finally figured out the, let's see here. So we've got this resolved, and I'm still sussing out what kind of artwork do we want down here, but there appears to be room for a full width panoramic shot, maybe. I'm not necessarily sure what I want down here. But this is the interior space. The back residence here, where the mayor, where the constable is killed. And then here is 11E, which is the mayor's office. This is where the mayor and two villagers are killed by undead that are roaming through. And you find the both the journal for the town that gives you a sequence of events that have happened up till 3 days ago. And as well as a ring of keys to open up treasure and stuff like that for folks to loot. So I'm pretty happy with that page. We figured out the rest of the page here at the front end, entrance, back entrance, and then general population. We have the Commons Hall as the main entrance here at the front door. Then we have the Commons interior, which is here. And then the undead villagers, which are the deadified people that are in the Commons area. And then the back exit here. So that fleshes that out. And then we have the warehouse, which was the biggest challenge I had been working on this week, parsing all the information about this building onto one page. So we've got the grain silo here and the rooftop where you go up the stairs up here and here. I need to bloodify that. Like I need to blood up this map a lot more than it is. Right now it's just placeholders, but yeah, we need to make this a slaughter. Top of the warehouse, top of the silo, and then they drop in. People are being chased by undead, and they fall into the silo. So then we have the silo interior, which is here, which has got moss, fungus, and undead in the grain. And then we have silo doors, which are here and here, which, if opened, spill grain out as a topple hazard. And also pours undead out as adds to a battle. If you catch them outside of the grain house, they're by themselves and easily mopped up. If you open the door inside of here while you're fighting other undead that are inside the warehouse, then you're stacking enemies on top of yourself. It becomes an add. So the silo doors open, and warehouse, and then the warehouse is full of dead villagers that were trying to get away but didn't. There's a lot of sliding doors. But the southern door will be open, so we need to adjust the map to show a 5-foot space for the door to be open for people to wander in, and then we need to bloody it up like crazy. Here are 3 of the other buildings. I'm considering whether I have additional text, like flavor text, that I want to include for the smithy and the grain mill here. Here's the smithy, here's the grain mill, and then here we have the stables over here. All the horses are dead, so there's none to take there. Let's see. Constabulary, where the constable's attacked, gets away bloodied, and goes over to the mayor's office. And then we have the wood mill, lumber mill, which is up by the tree line. Here's the village with all their roofs on. Here's the lumber mill. Here's the grain. Here's the smithy, the stable, the commons building, the constabulary, the silo and warehouse, into the forest and into town. So that's where we're at right now. I just wanted to show that off here for a minute before we bounce back to our other documents. So I'm going to shut this one down, and then let's open up pages 1 to 7. So while I was working last night, I pretty much finished with everything up through page 21 at this point. I'm currently working on the Karnath, the Karnath forest in the layouts. But when we had left off yesterday, we had this page here, which has the general weather conditions of the adventure, visibility markers, the conditions and terrain, and yesterday on the far right column was the short and long rests, which we had situated on this page here. Conditions and terrain were in this middle row, and then long rests were here. But I realized as I was going through all the text in the section 6 to page 8 through 21 for the village, that I was making all this reference to all the different plants and the plague mist that's coming from the manifest zone, but I hadn't really mentioned any weird conditions about the manifest zone in the intro like running the adventure. And so I needed to correct that, which ended up being great news. So after weather and visibility would naturally become the manifest zone, which modifies both weather and visibility in general, and introduces a bunch of conditions and terrain that you have to deal with. So baseline, exception to the rule, consequences of that exception, that ends up being this page. And then on the next page we have plot hooks, which further, how do you run the adventure? It depends on which plot hook you use, and as a result of which plot hook you use will determine how many encounters of wandering, prepared, and optional encounters you're going to want to include in your adventure. And depending on which plot hook you use and which encounters you want is going to determine how much short and long rests your characters can take during the adventure. And then we get back to the the long rest painting that we've been working on. And then after that is actually starting the adventure with the default plot hook. So here we're talking about plot hooks here. There's 5 alternate plot hooks, but the default plot hook is deputized. So once we get done explaining the different plot hooks, how you can modify the adventure based on the plot hooks and the amount of encounters that you want, and that sets how many short and long rests you have. You now have everything that you need to start the adventure. So let's start the adventure with being deputized, and that kicks off everything. And then from here, after this, into page 8, we get to the village and the intro of the actual encounter, and we spill through the first act into the Carnwood. And now I'm doing layouts for the Carnwood, and once we get those taken care of, we'll be dropping those down in the pages, and we'll continue scrolling stuff out. So things are coming along nicely. Here's the cover. This is an 8.5 by 11 cover, which is the normal size that you can fit on the DMsGuild, but these pages are 16 by 9, so this doesn't fit, so I resized it to fit inside of one column. But that's okay. It's the cover on the DMsGuild is going to look like everything else, and when you this document's designed to be used on a tablet, phone, or desktop setup, not printed. So 16 by 9 format is the same dimensions that you have on most devices these days. And so it's 16 by 9, but each column is a third and is also vertically 16 by 9. So this is actually a really great setup. I'm thrilled to have found this format. I hope it gets received well, because I'm interested in doing more pieces like this in the future. Adventure background, we need to drop a map in here. We already finished up the details on this page. I love that. This is where, actually what I think I want to do is get back to this page here. And I'm liking this. I was concerned about how heavy the balance was down here with how dense this information is over here compared to the text overall, but we do have a need to, hold on, let's, yeah, that's the right column. Let's do another one that's called center. And I'm not sure how I want to go about doing this, but for now we're gonna do like this, this, and this. Maybe so what we need, what I want to do is by default the characters are deputized at Fort Bastion in order to investigate reports of missing people along the edge of the Carnwood as detailed in the deputized section below. However, there are 5 alternate plot hooks with unique goals, rewards, and challenges detailed in Appendix 3 below. Hook 1, the 12. The characters are hired by the 12 to reestablish contact with the arcane researchers, and the 12 have invested arcane researchers that the 12. Let's mark that while we're thinking about it. That D12, cut that paste. that the 12 have invested resources into, which have gone missing. The characters are hired. If the Aether Academy is your plot hook, they hire you to recover the Eye of Mabar, the artifact that's gone missing from Aether Academy. Hook 3 is the Church of the Silver Flame wants you to shut down the Manifest Zone. Hook 4, the Gatekeepers want you to shut down the Manifest Zone. Hook 5, you were invited to the village to visit by family and friends, but when you get there, everyone is dead. So the diagram to the right shows different potential starting points for each plot hook and the paths that the story can follow from those points throughout the adventure to its conclusion. You can use the default plot hook deputized as detailed on the following pages and throughout the adventure, or replace it with one of these alternate plot hooks. You can also combine elements of each plot hook to further customize the adventure. See Appendix 3 for more details about each plot hook and how they can be combined, which we spend like 15 pages talking about. It's a lot of fun. So what I want to do is set up, I'm going to drop the opacity on this. So what I want to do is have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And we'll have little markers there. So what I want, hey V, how you doing? So what I want to establish is how to balance the space here and have some more density up here, and how do I express, like I want to have a plot map is kind of what I'm thinking, but this is the space that I have to operate inside of. So I'm trying to, we're spending time today sussing out how do we diagram this correctly. So there you go. That's my quest. If I guess if this were to be ideal, I would have these 3 things set up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, as we do. So I can have that there. I can have this here. That's fairly okay. That's there. And that's there. And this is the order of ascension. So if we, I don't know, let's say if we were to resize this, let's resize these. Now we're just going to be fucking around and experiment. We're just we're doing graphic design work today. So if this is part 1 and this is part 2 and this is part 3, the general path of the adventure is northwest, which is, so it's interesting. The 12 and Aether Academy, they know the coordinates. They know the key address to the teleportation circle that's inside of the dungeon in part 3, so they can actually beam you directly into the final dungeon. So plot hook 1 and 2, like, they start here. And the Church of the Silver Flame and the Gatekeepers, they know where the Manifest Zone is, but they don't know what's causing, why has it suddenly been created. They don't know why the moon Siphoros is out of conjunction, out of its normal orbit. They know fuckery is going on. Part 3, the underground dungeon, is inside of the Manifest Zone, which is part 2. So the Silver Flame and the Gatekeepers can get you to the Manifest Zone, but it's up to you from there to find the nexus inside of the final dungeon. And then plot hook 5 is the same as Deputized, which is friends and family inviting you to the village, and then you find your family and friends missing or dead, depending on how you like to play it. But the default plot hook is also Deputized. So that's kind of how the adventure is built to flow, but you could always start earlier in the adventure. So these are the things I need to get set up. These are the different elements of it. So I'm thinking maybe the right way to do this would be to transform, maybe flip it. So it's like this. Well, I mean, this wouldn't be flipped. paste, free transform, flip horizontally. This would be down here. Yeah, I guess this could work. Maybe this could work. I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm thinking we might update the color mana, the color mana list for all the spells in 2024 D&D. For the color mana system, we already have published all of the spells that exist in D&D 2014, but 2024 didn't pick up all the spells that exist. They only picked up the ones that, you know, they wanted to. So there's a lot of so the list has been simplified, and the core mechanics is dealing only with the core spells. So I want to update the spell lists so that when we start rebuilding the color mana system for 2024 altogether, we've got the colors prepped. And it's fun to talk about and debate color theory and like what color should something be and blah, blah, blah. So I think that is going to be a fun use of our time. Okay, maybe I don't want to have it that way because there's a northwestern drive. So having this here, I like this. How do I do? Because this is underground, under P2. But if I do it this, I could just do it. I could do it more linearly. Part 3, Part 2, Part 1. Part 3, Part 2, Part 1. See, the thing is that the alternate plot hooks 1, 2, 3, 5 is earlier and earlier, and goes earlier and earlier and earlier. So chronologically, or spatially and chronologically in the adventure, we're going from Part 1 to Part 3, but the alternate plot hooks are starting at 3 and working back to 1. That is a weird design decision. It's certainly creating interesting conflicts. I like this though. I like that I can drop this down here, and we can take all this and push those up. That's starting to feel right. Take this here again, take that to here, then bring that down. Maybe we block that in like that, and let's go to let's actually open the document. Yeah, when I originally got this document back, I'm like, hey, I can have the layouts done for this in November. And here I am at the beginning of December. I'm like, maybe I'll have it done in January. So everything's gonna take a little bit longer than I anticipated, but ain't that just normal? Researchers that the 12 invested resources into, which have gone missing. Which have now gone missing, period. And I wanted to be on this page because I wanted to look at, there we go, the titles. Part 1, Edge of Darkness. Part 2, Into the Mists. And then Part 3, Within the Nexus. you lock up on me? I'll probably fix it. Yeah. Within the Nexus. I don't know, maybe something like that. Fucking around. I want to mind my borders too. But yeah, we fixed this already, so I can get rid of that. Now I drop the size on that. And here like that. Deputized. That's kind of a neat idea. I like that. Hey. Excellent. You should. I'm so happy to hear that. Fantastic news. Good news, everyone. V's gonna do some art. Let me trim that a bit like that. Something like that. I'm not sure exactly. There and then. There and then. Deputized, and then let's go with 5. Maybe something like that. That's kind of neat. Something, I mean, these numbers aren't going to be that big, but that's okay. So I kind of like that. Something a little bit more structured, like duplicating these icons down here, so that they're up here. Would actually be a really great idea. So me locking down what this is, and then having that same marbling effect inside these blocks, that would be interesting. I don't need to make these numbers so big. I can just use these. I could probably just build this out of word stuff, but it's helping balance the page by having these dark blocks like this and having the white text inside of it is helping balance some of the weight from the camping picture in the lower right hand corner being such a pixel dense corner. It kind of throws off the balance of the page, so I needed to drop in something darker here in the middle. I think this is kind of accomplishing that. The alternative would be to do the same thing, but black and white, or to invert it. So let's explore that idea for a few moments just to see how that feels. And in that instance, it would be putting in a thick block like this, and then doing the opposite. It's the opposite. If I use the same background here, that's kind of a thought. I could match the back here to be the same sort of backdrop. I don't hate that idea. I don't hate that at all. Let's play that out a little bit. This might be too restrictive. I might need more space than this is going to allow me to have. By doing this frame stuff, it reduces the effective area I have to work with. Because I have to mind the borders here. If I didn't have miscolored borders, then I wouldn't have to worry. I'd have potentially out into the margins to cheat extra space to write stuff. I don't know if I like it or not, honestly. It does help balance the page. Fade it out. Brr. There, smudge. It's the polish that takes all the time. You can rough stuff in pretty quickly. You can get your sketch in. You can get your proportions. You can get a general gist of composition, and then it's just how much time are you willing to spend rendering details. It's that rendering time where that AI gets its foot in through the door. It's like, oh, I can help you render. So I would love for you to help me render if I could have you render like in my style specifically, but AI is not there yet. I don't think I have an ethics problem with a machine learning tool learning how to paint like I do. So when I use it specifically, I'm like, yeah, help render some of these. Like, take care of that foliage for me. And it's like all the other ones that you've done. Like, yeah, just like those. Like, okay, cool. Let me help you save some time on that. And it just proxies for me and fills it in, right? Like that's machine assisted. That's machine assisted creation, and I'm kind of in favor of that. I like the idea of it. Right now, just like the text prompts, it's not there. I want to be able to. Well, I think ultimately language is where it's going to happen because I have to be able to describe like having an AI is like having a slave artist. You are not creating things when you use AI. You are an art director, and you are telling your art monkey what you want, and it obeys. It's just free labor. You are no more a creator when you press buttons in an AI prompt than you are the creator when you send me an email and tell me what you want me to paint for you. And that's I think that's a point in I think that's a point in the conversation that just doesn't seem to be addressed a lot, or at least not from that perspective. It's pretty fucking obvious from that perspective. But I don't think enough people that voice their opinions about AI have enough, practical experience to think about the art direction aspect of it. I don't know why. I just don't hear that I don't hear that argument a lot, but it's like so obvious. It's probably because most of the people that talk about it on YouTube and stuff don't have any experience like that, except for the artists that do. Because there's two types of people that talk about three types of people that talk about AI: artists, laymen that are interested in the industry, and then pro AI people that are interested in the industry. And the artists can be either pro or against, but it's the talking heads, the observers that have opinions about it, that I don't think have that intuitive art direction take, because they don't have any experience interacting on with clients on that level. Hey, what's up, text? You're concerned. What are you concerned about? But on the other hand, I think one of the high values that I can actually contribute as a channel is the pixel by pixel struggle of actually building something. And I think one of the biggest problems with budding artists and the influence of social media is that, like, a lot of really cool art streams or whatever, when they're talking about their creation process or whatever, and they're playing as a video the creation of a piece of art, sometimes they're sped up like 64 times faster. And so if they have a 20-minute video, you're watching 20 hours of production time in the span of 20 minutes. And that doesn't, I think, give you a very accurate representation of what the struggle of art really is, like down to the frustrating pixel by pixel moment, An algorithm that scrapes people's work and stitches it together without their permission is very different from hiring an artist to make something. Yeah, exactly. It is very different, but from the person that's using the prompt in the AI, the way that you create art through AI is the same process that an art director uses to email an actual artist to create something. People that use AI, they're art directors, and they're directing an artificial artist to create the work as a conglomerate of other artists' work. So I think we're talking in the same direction. Maybe I just said it in the direction from an angle that isn't natural or expected. Nope. I don't. Meryl? Maybe I don't understand where you're coming from. Do I want this like that? I don't honestly know. Let's block all that. Alright, so I've put a little bit of time scraping this thing into a shape. It's certainly balancing the page better, but I don't know if it's going to add any actual value. To the ideas we're playing with. But I could add those back in. That doesn't take away from that. Kind of like that. Ooh, yep. The more I'm sitting with this, for some reason, the more I'm liking it. Hey, what's up? There's no reasonable way to call AI-generated stuff art. There's no passion or emotion that gets into it. No genuine effect. No original structure. See, that's from an artistic perspective. I'm looking at it from an industry perspective. And my computer is apparently, there we go, locked up for a second. It's still locked up. What is going on with you, my goo? You gonna come back into effect? Okay, wait. Yeah. There. My USBs have been a little fritzy on my computer. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to take it to the shop and have the USBs swapped out. That'd be a pain in the ass. No, I don't disagree with you at all. I completely agree with you. But most people don't care about the artistic side of it, the art of it. They only care about the results. That's all that the consumer is going to care about. What kind of results can I make? And so I just think it's important to frame the conversation around, look, you aren't actually producing anything. You are an art director when you are using AI machinery. And if that's what you want to do, then, carry on. You'll get the results. You'll get the results that you deserve. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, to me, AI is just the next step towards industrializing art. I went through a similar crisis in the early 2000s when high-speed internet access allowed the entire world to compete against me for art gigs. And when your cost of living is a third of mine, you can charge half of my price and end up making more profit from your relative perspective because your overhead is so much lower. And so I had to go through that in the 2000s, and that's what basically kicked me out of doing freelance fantasy RPG art for a living, because I couldn't compete against Bangladesh or at the time Singapore, which had just as good artists as I am, or better in some instances, but now they can actually get to the marketplace because of the high-speed internet access across the world. It was plausible and practical for them to be able to use. And then Photoshop and tablets were all advancing at the same time. It basically globalized the digital art and justified the use of digital art because of improved techniques. It became viable all of a sudden, and so just as I was getting started in that industry, I felt like my legs got cut out from underneath me, because now there's no way I can compete. The artists that were as good as me, that required a third of my pay, were outbidding me all the time. That's why I moved into doing commissions, OCs, and I did that for a little while. But again, that market got saturated as well, and so eventually I had to start making books and actually creating role-playing books, so that the art that I created became I didn't have to worry about selling art anymore, so I could detach myself emotionally from the production of the artwork to my potential income, so I could focus income around the books that I'm creating and allow me to retain the freedom of expression and emotion for the artwork that I'm creating, which was really important for me to avoid burnout. If I start monetizing art strokes, I will quickly burn out on doing artwork. It has happened before. So to me, AI is just the next Bangladesh. It's just Bangladesh 2.0 to me. It's Turkey 2.0. It's Singapore 2.0. It's just another example of art becoming incredibly inexpensive and easy to produce. Whether it's good or not is beside the point, because it just has to be commercial enough for it to be accepted by the audience that's going to be receiving the illustrations. And the audience doesn't give a shit. They don't care if it's AI or not unless it looks bad. If it looks bad, then they care and they blame you for using AI and you're a shitty user. But if it looks good, cheers. Everything's fine. I'm not saying that's necessarily how it should be. It is how it is, and I don't get to operate in a world the way that I want it to. I have to operate the world with how it actually operates and adapt my strategies accordingly, because no one gives a fuck about me. So I have to adapt myself to be able to fit within reality as presented. And so I can't really get upset over AI usage. It's not going anywhere, and it's optimal for low-hanging fruit. It's always going to be the least common denominator now in any art production project. It's just cheap art. So you can't do away with it. You can't avoid it. You have to deal with it. And so the only solution I currently have around that is be authentic. If AI becomes industry standard, then the artisanal craftsmen are people that still do it by hand like this. So this isn't so much. Becomes that much more of a couture process. I'm handwriting mechanics for a game that I'm hand painting as well, in an industry where AI is writing it and AI is producing the artwork more and more every day. So that's, if you're going to have some sort of gimmick, why is there? Like, if you're going to have like a quote unquote gimmick or reason for being considered entertainment on YouTube like this, then that's now sitting around the idea of, it'd be like watching somebody teach you how to make a chair, you know, from like, I'm going to start with a block of wood and we're going to end up with a chair. Let's go. And like, if that's the kind of craftsman channel that you like, then that's where your audience is going to be. I think that's the same thing with artwork. I think it's going to become something that some people have a yearning for as an expression of creation, but it will no longer be necessary to have human interaction at that art director, artist level. It becomes just purely a recreational experience. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that seems to be the only way it's really going to be going. So I can use encounter deputized. I think that sits okay. I'm probably going to want to go into Word and suss this stuff out separately, but I think I like that. So yeah, we're gonna let that sit. That's how we're gonna do. So let's fold that up. And where are we at? 7 o'clock now? Cool. Almost got an hour. Let's get back into, do we want to be back in this space right now? Let's see if there's something else that's going on that might catch our attention. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. That's going to end up being okay. probably do a fade with that, because if I use black text anyway, that should be fine. I just want to fuck around with this for another moment. Lighten it up. That might feel better. Yeah, so far so good. I think I'm okay with that. Light, medium, dark, that's a decent balance. More text. Yeah, that's going to be okay. Honestly, I still need to write the Manifest Zone stuff. I just realized last night, I'm like, I don't have time to write that shit out. But I suspect it's going to eat up space, like probably about this much space, which probably means we'll have a little pocket open down here. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to leave that space for now. All right, here we are. Same situation again. So we've got actually what I really need to do is figure this shit out. I had originally built this was most of a map that I had created for the adventure, but it's a lot more area than I actually need. So. And it was my original thoughts when I was first pulling this together. I made this map, and obviously we'll have to figure out what font we're going to. We've pretty much figured out our font at this point, so we'll be able to drop those fonts into here to clean this whole thing up. But the only real point of interest is like right here, peace, the manifest zone, and then this bigger dot in the center. This is where part 3 is at. So part 2 is the manifest zone in general. Part 3 is this here. So this is a cemetery. This is the flooded fort, and on the surface level, this is the gatehouse. But underneath the gatehouse is part 3. So the only thing that's really relevant here is, well, Aether Academy could be relevant. Aether Academy is relevant because the artifact was stolen from Aether and then taken to the Manifest Zone. And you're deputized at Bastion and then travel to the Village Peace. And then from Village Peace, we then move northwest into the Carnwood and then into the Manifest Zone. So those are the relevant points. So if I were to drop opacity on that a bit, and then maybe zoom in. Something more reasonable in size. Kind of. It's like a bunch of dead space, you know, like the balance in this, like this is technically our ratios, like our proportions of things being around, but it's just so much dead space. It doesn't, I want to have a true map of the environment, but again, it just feels, maybe we'll just fade that down. Let's think if we can. Let's see if we can figure something out here. So, this is the cemetery. This is the flooded fort. This is the gatehouse, and this is the Nexus Underground. This is the Manifest Zone that surrounds these locations. Here's the village, and here's the forest. This is obviously not to scale. But this is kind of the gist. Hey there. Let's maybe we drop that there, and then maybe this can work. Bastion, we got Village Peace. Ader Academy, Bastion, Peace, Carnwood, Nexus, Flooded Fort, Cemetery, Gatehouse. Huh. Okay, so in this case here, this is interesting. Hold on. Bring this, we could do this. We bring it down here. Yeah, okay, because we're here, and then we go to here, and then we go to here, and then that goes to here, and now we have all of this space to fuck around in. I do not hate this. I do not hate this. We could technically, here, we can make this bigger. What if I tilted it this way instead? Sorry, I'm micromanaging its positioning right now to see how I can center this inside of this column here to the edge and have all of the stuff that I really need. And all I really need is Ader, Bastion, and the village. And then all of this space here now becomes open zoom space. Like space I can zoom into is what I'm trying to say there. So what if I do correct that here, bring this here? What if I bring it in a snig? And what if I tilted the map so that this was northwest? Like north is this way. No, I do like it like this, but I could still put north on a tilt. I'd be okay with that. I mean, this is technically north, so this would be north here. North, so this would be northwest going this way. Northwest goes this way. Yeah, this is the proper way to do it. So, yeah, being square is good. I could actually tilt it a little bit. And that starts to pinch over here a smidge. And that opens up a lot of dead space. I like that, though. I like the idea, because there's so much dead space over here. Like, who gives shit? So that feels better tilting over here. Village, Bastion, Ader, Carnwood. Let's try that. Ader here. Bastion here. Piece here. Ader Academy is here. The Carnwood does as the Carnwood does. Huh. Manifest zone. Manifest zone. That's not right. It's like oh no. That's not right. It is supposed to be like bump, 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 like that. Center up like that. This is how the three structures, the cemetery, the flooded fort, and the gatehouse are arranged as such. is not to proportion. We already disclaimed that. So let's take this here, drop it here. This is how we actually approach it. So when the characters come dead on towards it, the gatehouse is actually in line with dead on with where the village is at, but there's there's like 25 miles between the village and the manifest zone. There's only the three structures fit within a mile, so there's a 5% variance, there's a 2.5 degree variance. Sorry, a 13 degree variance on either side from center point. So if you're off just a little bit, the DM could have you hit the cemetery, could have you hit the flooded fort, or could have you hit the gatehouse, depending on what kind of challenges and vibe the team generally has and the DM wants to do. Because you can hit each one of those locations separately as separate dungeons, in and out of the manifest zone if you're using multiple days. Or if you're using plot hook 3 and 4, you just get dropped directly into this manifest zone, and then depending on whether you want combat, social, or exploration is going to depend on which one you go with. Combat for the cemetery, social for the gatehouse, and exploration for the flooded fort. SG, CC, there you go. So that's the general setup there, and then this is then here. Village, gatehouse, cemetery, fort. It's kind of how that sits. So we have the room for all the graphic elements that we want, and we can even have the proper ratio of distancing. Yeah, along the outer edge here. And we can even, yeah. So this is all we really need, just this ribbon through here. It's really interesting. I'm trying to think through how do I want these elements positioned specifically. So this is making the sausage, where the rubber meets the road, and all those other idioms. Let's take all that, and we're going to call these trash. Take our trash folder down here to the toilet. Flush. 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 So, maybe what I need to do. Yeah. Okay. So I'm definitely liking this. So let's do it one more time. You can zoom in a little bit more. Nope. Bastion. Peace. Fort. Bastion. My shit froze up again. Hopefully hitting save is all I need to refresh. Cool. Academy for Bastion. I almost feel like God, I almost feel like this text could be down here instead. What if we did this? Can we cheat that? What if we moved the text down here instead? So we could bring the map up here. Ooh. There's potential here. I love figuring shit out like this. It's so much fun. Okay, cool. So this is starting to create a little additional space for us to fuck around inside of. Let's take that and merge that down. I kind of like this idea. Well, we better block it in then. Hold on. Let's create a masking layer and detach it from the actual map. So we can cordon this off. Like that. Holy shit, I love this. I think the part of making books that I like the most, that's most satisfying, like the actual process of creation that's most satisfying, is figuring it out, is realizing that we can make the space work, and that the idea, like, it just legitimately works. Then there's all the rendering and the painful effort of actually like birthing the actual pages, but realizing that it can be done, like acknowledging this is real. This will come to pass. That feels incredibly satisfying. And now we have all this top page stuff. push that up to the border. Okay, yeah, this is totally gonna work. Holy crap. There, put that in. Ba-ba-ba. Yeah, like that. Peace. That. There's that. And bring this back down. There we go. Manifest zone, and then we have Carnwood down along this edge here, and now we have this space open. Just like that. Holy shit, this is working out. Can I? That's probably as good as we're gonna get. Yeah, like that. I think I want to have there like that. Bump. I want to put a greenish tinge on that, but maybe I don't. The initial thing doesn't have to talk about the other stuff, so I could. I don't have to worry about this triangulation shit right now. Wait, I'm going to add that back in because we do want to take. Okay, so yeah, once we build all this, then we establish like this is the center of activity, like right here. This is the only thing that's important once we get into the area. So, world map, bring this from Ader through Fort Bastion to here. So that takes care of the narrative that we have inside of this page here. And then on to page 3, we have the different factions that we're going to deal with. And now we're talking about Edge of Darkness, the 3 areas, the 3 sections. Peace, Carnwood. We've got Cemetery, Flooded Fort, Gatehouse, and then part 3. So while we're here now, this is starting to feel kind of cool. Nope. Go. Circle here, drop it a bit so it centers up here, and so we have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 1, part 2, part 3. So let's take part 2. Part 3. A little out of order, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but that seems to be a common theme that we're dealing with right now. I don't hate this though. I do not hate this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't do it that way. Part 3 is... This is not part 3. Two, and then is that how I want to do this? There's only part 3. There's no A, B, or C in part 3, so maybe I need to bring this down a bit here. Going on. Oh, you locked up again. That's why. Save. Hit the save button. I probably have to update Adobe Photoshop again. Part 3. Something like that. I mean, that's not bad. I don't hate it. Not hating it's the first part of liking it. Let's drop the size a bit so it fits in the screen, but that's... Ha 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 ha. Let's do it differently. Let's do it differently from that. Hold on. That's the big brain. There you go, Giga Chad. This is the way. Through line, literally. Oh, that's fucking cool. That is fucking cool. Oh, it's 7:51. I'm almost out of time. I think this has been a pretty damn productive day. I am pleased. I think these things look cool as shit, man. I am really, really looking forward to this. Part 2, part 3. I don't have to have part 1 in there. Part 2. Part 1. That might not be the right way to do it. I can get all these parts to be the same size and make sure that they fit inside that circle there. A and B. I mean, that's some pretty literal graphics. I love that. I think that's so fucking cool. I love that. So let's make sure. Hold on, let's do it like this. Get rid of that. Alright, that's my time. But yes, this is this. I can make those a little bit bigger. We can work on the proportions, but this is... Yeah, I like that. And from there we have... Here... I could technically. Oh, I could have the I could have the 3 circles here as well, duplicated from this map. Let's transpose it to here. Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deputy. So we have that duplicate form showing another purpose. Oh, I think that's going to work. I think this is going to work. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Yeah, I think that fucking. All right. So that's it. I got to cut for now. When we come back, I'm going to be back tonight at 6:30 Seattle time. 5:30, 6. Yeah, 6:30 Seattle time. Will be 9:30 East Coast. I think we're going to be working on color mana stuff tonight. So stick around, like, subscribe, bell icons, blah blah blah. Check out my stuff down below, and hopefully I'll see more of y'all later on tonight. So thanks a lot. Later on, guys. Cheers.